Hi guys! Thanks for coming back to check out my next video. I know the last two videos I did were reviews. I just had a couple of books that I had for review that I wanted to go ahead and review the day they came out, or as close to the day they came out as possible. The reviews will usually come first before any of these other videos, just so that you're aware. So today we are starting my new series. They're going to be called Tea Talks. So I will always have a cup of tea up here that I might sip from throughout the video, and I will just be talking about something book related. Some of them will be well thought out, and they'll be well planned, and they'll be so insightful. Some of them, just like today, are going to be like lists or something like that. So today I'm going to be talking to you about a read-a-thon that I'm doing throughout the year. It is called the AYearAThon. So it's 1 week each month, towards the beginning of the month. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to tell you guys what I read for the January one, and then I'm going to tell you a tentative TBR for each of the rest of them. And it will possibly change. It just depends on if I've read these books already or if I'm still trying to read them. I also way overestimated what I'm going to be able to read. So these lists are really long, some of them. I'm just hoping to get through at least half of these. And I'm also going to put down here like a little subtitle that's going to tell you the dates and the theme of it. So let's get into it. So the first one was January 4th through the 10th, and the theme was bench warmers. So I was actually traveling through this week, so my goal was to read as many ebooks as I could that I've had for a while. Because I have so many ebooks, and I just don't ever read them because I'd rather read my physical books because I can see them. So for this round of the read-a-thon, I chose, I think, 8 or 9 books on my Kindle to read. The only thing is I only finished one and I started a second. So the book that I finished was Ignite by Lily Paradis. It's about a girl. Her father's dead, and her father's wife dies and leaves their 3 children to her. Overall, I thought it was a really good book, but that's the only book that I actually finished because I was doing a lot while I was traveling. But I also started Sex and the City by Candace Bushnell, which I finished last week or the week before. So I did at least start a second book that I wouldn't have read. So 1.5. So the second round of the AYearAthon will be from February 8th to the 14th, and the theme is romance or new adult. So I have a very long list of these, but that's because they just seem to go by really fast. So the first one I'm going to possibly try to read is Obsidian Butterfly by Laurel K. Hamilton. I think this is the 9th book in the Anita Blake Vampire Hunter series, and it's a paranormal romance kind of thing, so it counts. I should be able to get this done like in 1 day. Next, I'm going to try to read The Choice, A Walk to Remember, Nights in Rodanthe, and Dear John by Nicholas Sparks. I chose these 4 because these are the 4 thinnest Nicholas Sparks books I have. So if I could just knock out all 4 of these, that'd be great. Next, I'm going to read Caught Up in You by Ronnie Lauren. I have no idea what this is about. It was in the bargain section of Books A Million, and I just grabbed it because I thought it would be interesting. Then we have The One and Only and Where We Belong, both by Emily Giffin. These are the only 2 books by her that I own that I haven't read. I still need to get Heart of the Matter and read that one, and then I will have read everything she has out to date. Next, we have March 7th through 13th, and it is horror/suspense. I don't read a lot of horror or suspense. I tend to avoid that genre because I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't like scary things. I have 3, possibly 4. One of the books that I'm going to show you counts in 2 categories, but let's start off. First, I want to try to finish Under the Dome by Stephen King. I started this in October as part of my scary books in October, and you can see how far I've gotten since then. So hopefully I could just knock this out in March. I also want to try to read By Reason of Insanity by Shane Stevens. I don't know exactly how far I got in it the first time I tried to read, but I just wasn't able to delve into it as much as I wanted to. Then I also want to read Christine by Stephen King because my friend from work was telling me about it and just sounds interesting. And then I might read this one on this one, or I might read it later. But it's Catacomb by Madeleine Roux. It is the 3rd book in the Asylum trilogy, which I have very mixed feelings about this trilogy. I absolutely hate it because it's so scary, but in the other part, it's so good. Like, it's so interesting, and it's just it draws you in, and that's why it's so scary. Next, we are coming up on April 4th through the 10th, and the theme for this one is rereads. So first I want to read part of the series of Unfortunate Events. I'm on book 2 right now. I will definitely be past book 2 by then. I also want to read Pretties by Scott Westerfeld. I read Uglies back in September, I think. So I'm trying to reread this series because I am totally confused on what happens, and I am totally wrong about everything in life. I also want to reread 13 Reasons Why, just because I haven't read it in a couple of years, and I feel like I should read it every couple of years just to read it, just because it's one of my favorite books and it's so important to me. And then I'm gonna read The Fellowship of the Ring because I mentioned this in my intro video. I tried to read the series before and I got halfway through The Return of the King before I quit, which I feel like that's an awful thing to say because J.R.R. Tolkien is my favorite writer. So I'm gonna try to reread this. May 2nd through the 8th is series catch up. So it's working on or completing that series that you've been reading. So I have a couple here. First, I'm probably going to read another series of Unfortunate Events book just because I'm working on this series. Then I also want to work on A Storm of Swords by George R.R. Martin. I probably won't be able to finish this in that week, but if I can at least get through like a good chunk of this chunky book, I will be satisfied. I want to finish Catacomb. I want to finish the Asylum series. I want to get this out of my life. I've been putting this off, but I want to read Library of Souls to finish off the Miss Peregrine's trilogy. Then I also want to read Wandering Star by Romina Russell. This is the second book to Zodiac. It just came out this year. I read the other one last year, I think when it first came out, so I'm really excited to get into this. I'm just kind of worried because I don't remember everything that happened. For June 6th through the 10th, it is LGBTQ+. I had to look really hard on my shelves to find books that fit this category. The only one that really does is Hold Me Closer, the Tiny Cooper story, because it's about the gay guy from Will Grayson by David Levithan and John Green, and it's the play that he writes. So this one fits it perfectly. This one not so much, but it does involve a poly-something relationship. I can't remember what the word is. Eventually in this series it does, but there's a lot of gay characters and there's just some stuff going on in here that I feel like it fits. I don't know if it really fits, but I'm gonna go with it. So on July 4th through the 10th, it will be TBR Catch-Up, which right now I don't really have a plan for that. It'll just be whatever books I have on my other bookshelf that I haven't read yet. August 1st through the 7th is nonfiction. So for this, I have a couple books. The first one is a biography about J.R.R. Tolkien. I haven't read it yet. I want to read it. Then a Treasury of Virginia Tales. I think they're true. I don't really know. But this also goes for one of my reading challenges, which is read a book from your home state. So I think it's true. I don't know. Then we have Popular by Maya Van Wagenen. It's a memoir. Memoirs are usually nonfiction, I think. I'm gonna read it because I want to read it, and this gives me an excuse to read it. Then I'm also going to work on The Fellowship, the literary lives of Inklings, including J.R.R. Tolkien, C.S. Lewis, Owen Barfield, and Charles William. It's just a book about the writing club that they had together during their time at Oxford. So September 5th through the 11th is small books. I have a nice pile of small books. I went with the smallest ones I could find. So one of these is going to be a book from the series of Unfortunate Events just because they're small, they're quick to read, and I can knock that out in a day. Then we have Mandy by Julie Edwards. So I've had this for a while and I want to read it. Then we have Hamlet. So there's a set of books and they're Shakespeare retold through text messages, and I read the Hamlet one so I kind of know what's going on now, but I want to actually read Hamlet. Then we have The Hunger Games, if I don't read it before then, which I might read it before then. Then we have Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. It's just a small classic. Really want to read it. Naked Lunch by William S. Burroughs. Also a small classic. Just really want to read it. In Cold Blood by Truman Capote. Another small classic. Just really want to read it. So October is the last one that I actually have a list for. It is Mental Health, and it goes from the 3rd to the 9th. The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon. It's about a boy who I think has autism. Every Last Word by Tamara Ireland Stowe is about a main character who suffers from OCD. And then A Man Is So Discreet. I don't know anything about this book, but I think there's something wrong with her and her mental state. I don't know. Next, on November 7th through the 13th, we have 2016 debuts. I don't currently have any. I'm probably gonna go find some throughout the year and then I'll read those. And then last, in December 5th through the 11th, it is graphic novels. I don't own any. So I'm going to have to go get some if I really want to read some. So my foot's asleep. These are all the books that I plan to read for these little book challenges. If I can get to all of them, that would be amazing. Then I'd have more time to read other things. So today I am drinking Snow Day by David's Tea. It was one of their 12 days of tea, and it's one of my favorite ones right now. But I can't seem to get the combination right because it's chocolate mint, but I keep getting a little too much mint, not enough chocolate. My foot hurts really bad right now because it's trying to wake up. Alright, so thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you can check out my next video. Have a great day and a wonderful week. Bye.